Dragon Ball is a manga which continues to capture the hearts of children 20 years after its conclusion. In this video, we will explore the style of manga creation of Akira Toriyama, the creator of the masterpiece Dragon Ball. Son Goku, with his pointy hair and tail, has such a distinctive silhouette that even if you paint him black, you still recognize him immediately. Nico-chan Taiyo, having a head in the shape of a butt, and Arale-chan in her black-rimmed glasses also have an impact that is hard to forget once you see them.
It may be easy to be recognized with a simple outlook, but when it comes to drawing, it may not be as easy. Just by slightly disrupting the hair partition, it would look like a different character. In addition, Dragon Ball has many action scenes which are presented in different camera angles. In order to have all the Goku in different angles to look exactly the same, it is necessary to have a high level of skills in sketching. As the basic design is so well done, the simpler the form, the more difficult it is to deal with different angles, unless one is really good at sketching. When I started drawing Dragon Ball, I was planning to go in the style of Journey to the West, and the main character, Son Goku, was planned to be a monkey. But that would have been too obvious and not interesting, so we decided to make him a human with a tail. Since Arale-chan was so flashy, I wanted Goku to not stand out in terms of appearance like a supporting character. The only thing that makes him distinctive is his hairstyle, tail, and personality. Of course, it's good if the person who draws it can feel for the main character, but it would be a problem if it ends up being just self-satisfaction. It was never an easy task. Also, when you don't get used to drawing the character, the face and other parts are going to change little by little, but it will settle down after you draw it many times.
In Weekly Jump, there are always more than 15 titles released every week. So in order for a new series to survive, it is important to have a name that is easy to remember and leaves a lasting impression. Like the silhouette mentioned before, the name should have an impact. Some of the names of characters in Mr. Toriyama's works rhyme rhythmically, such as Tsuntsuku-tsun, that appeared in Dr. Slump.
In Dragon Ball, names of characters of the same group are related in their meaning. For example, the Ginyu, Milk, Force under the Friezas, Freezer, army has members like Barta, Butter, and Rikumu, Cream, etc. You may think the names are just puns, but it is very important to make children comfortable and easy to understand so that they will say them out loud. Maybe it's because my hometown is in the countryside. I like landscapes with a view of the horizon. There are too many people in the city, and I don't like it.
As the story develops, Mr. Toriyama's works often depict spacious landscapes, giving readers a sense of epicness of the adventures to come. In addition, the scenery on planet Namek is clearly different from Earth, with rounded aziza trees that look like snail horns and yellow clouds, and the detailed parent script on the Kara Tower give readers the impression of how sacred the tower is.
It is a basic approach in manga to use long shots during scene changes, but it is necessary to let readers understand the world building at just one glance. Deep down inside, I'm a lazy person, so when it comes to battles, I have the stage destroyed and turn it into a wasteland. And the reason Super Saiyans get blonde hair is because it requires no painting.
Mr. Toriyama says with a touch of embarrassment, but it's not just a matter of cutting corners. As you can see on the left, in the battle scenes, the action stands out more when the background is omitted. Besides, the spiky hair and angry expressions of the Super Saiyan can be expressed more easily with blonde-haired and green eyes. Focusing readers' sights on what needs to be seen and removing what is unnecessary is the backbone of Mr. Toriyama's style. Mr. Toriyama is faithful to tradition in terms of panel layout. He rarely uses cross-line or regular-shaped panels that use a lot of space in the page. Even so, you can still experience the excitement and realism of the battle scenes, thanks to the power of the moving camera angles. The mix of close-ups and long shots, and camera angles that put the attacking side on the right of the screen allows a fast-paced reading experience. In addition, Mr. Toriyama pays attention to the shadow that is drawn underneath the characters, which is an accurate representation of the direction of the sun. As a result, even when the camera angle is switched, the flow of time and the position of the characters can be easily recognized by the brain. There are many machinery of his original design in Mr. Toriyama's works. Though he loves plastic models and motorcycles, he seldom draws them as they are.
It's too much trouble to refer to the reference materials.
Although Mr. Toriyama said in a humble way, it is his style to design freely and he enjoys free expression, rather than being distracted by having to draw everything correctly. However, the markings and model numbers, the structures of joints and metallic texture, even parts as tiny as a screw, are all drawn as they should be, giving the machinery a high degree of realism.
One of my favorite designs is a machine that can walk on two legs as shown above. Although the design is impossible in reality, the look that it stands in perfect balance is the key. I wanted to finish the script as soon as possible so I could play with the plastic models.
Mr. Toriyama said the previous comment in a candid shot from around 1983. Mr. Toriyama was good at weathering and modifications. His speed of coloring illustrations is as quick as painting plastic models. Could it be by looking at the plastic models from different angles, he learned how to draw with different camera angles? Mr. Toriyama is good at drawing small objects and details. Even the illustration used for explaining the tools he used in drawing manga has the Toriyama flavor. Texture on clothing, such as lingerie, is also another problem for Mr. Toriyama. Having experience in making advertisements for underwear helped him draw the above characters with ease.
It was after the Dragon Ball series ended, I started to challenge digital drawing, and the only software I have been using is Adobe Photoshop. I used to do inking on paper and then scan it to do the finishing digitally, but I lost my favorite pen barrel while I was drawing Jocko, so I began to try digital inking for the first time in manga. It was a lot of work, but lines with a new touch were born.
The best part of Dragon Ball are the action scenes which are full of speed and impact. The sequence of combo of Son Goku, which is covered across multiple pages and ended with a dynamic special attack, requires the use of multiple techniques, which are highlighted in the upcoming 4 panels. The first panel is the scene which Goku is aiming at Piccolo down below at the stage while he is in mid-air. Such scene is presented in a 3-dimensional and dynamic layout. In addition to the contrast in size between Goku on the right and Piccolo on the far left, the stage is drawn to emphasize the size and distancing of the entire scene. Piccolo's face, while it's drawn as tiny as a dot in the previous panel, is shown in a close-up over here. From Goku's view, Piccolo's expression of surprise and panic is presented with a zoomed-in effect, using speed lines. This also acts as a buffer before the final blow, and to give momentum to the huge final panel. At the same moment of Piccolo's close-up, the reactions of the characters who are watching the battle are shown in the panel. The intense movements of characters, including Krillin, who dives into the ground, holding his head, make readers anticipate the tense situation and the power of the Kamehameha to be unleashed. The finishing blow at the end of Goku's combo is presented in this huge panel in full impact. In addition to Goku's facial expression and the dynamic movements emphasized by the speed lines, the speech bubble and text that covers half of the panel also make the scene stand out.
I wanted to draw the last scene, ha! in a large panel, and in order to express the distancing, I avoid the use of a vertical panel. To show the impact of the whole sequence from jumping, free-falling, and the final blow, I did my best to choose and draw in the best angle. I am always like that. Whenever I talk to people, especially when I'm being recorded like this time, I have a bad habit of saying things like, "It's too much trouble," or "It's just a matter of time," or trying to be cool and not letting people know how hard I'm working. Of course, if I were that lazy, I wouldn't be able to draw. And manga artist isn't a job that easy. Don't underestimate the color chart. I pretend it's like nothing to me, but I work pretty hard out of sight. Even now that I'm an old man and I don't work much on comics, I try a lot of new things by sacrificing my sleeping time. Still, I am not satisfied with my work. I may look confident, but in fact, I am just pushing myself too hard. I know it is often said, but I truly believe what makes people improve is not to stop learning. That being said, I retired early though. For the sake of young artists, old men like me shouldn't work too hard. I'm also not impressed with myself for making exaggerations, bragging, or changing what I've said in conversations. I don't regret the part of me that is a perverse, enjoy solitude, and don't get along well with others, because these have positive influence to my profession, but I wonder how I am as a person. So, I would appreciate it if you would not take my comments in the interview too seriously. Finally, I would like to give one advice to people who aim to become manga artists. I would go so far as to say, don't follow the trend, but you should have the guts, sense, and individuality to go against the trend. Finally, I hope you all enjoy and dedicate yourself fully to your work.